Welcome back to episode 10 of the Sideline Surge podcast, where two dudes like us that never made it in between the white lines talk about sports from the sidelines. Me, your host, Dustin, co-host, DJ. How you doing today?
Good. I've got my cup of Joe. I'm doing just fine. Doing just fine this early morning.
I already had my first cup. I actually had some espresso, iced latte. I think we make in this household sometimes. Sometimes I have a hot, sometimes I have a cold. And today was a cold morning. So
All right. Well, you little bougie. I'm just going straight drip from your Keurig, and that's exactly what we're rolling with. I just need something in my system.
straight drip, huh? All right. I see you. I see
That's
you.
all I got.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah. First off, if you guys are not subscribed to the podcast already on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you are watching this podcast, and then also follow us on TikTok at Sideline Surge for more clips from the podcast as well. Now, before we get into the actual news, games from yesterday, a bunch of stuff we want to talk about today, I wanted to go ahead and do a way too early Michigan Wolverines schedule W's and L's. So I'm going to list out who they're playing, and we're going to say if they're going to be W's or L's for Michigan this year. So I have up the schedule. The defending national champions start off the season with Fresno State, W or L.
Oh, it's a W.
Easy W, right? Then it gets tricky right off rip. Second game of the season, Texas comes to town.
No, that's a loss for sure.
That's a loss. Michigan lost a lot, lost its coach, lost its quarterback. Not enough to get it done versus Texas. So I'm going to go ahead and give them an L.
The thing too is they added nobody as well. I mean, they retained or picked up two players, lost 11-13, a lot in the draft. So I have a lot of faith in this team. Definitely a loss to Texas.
Neither. Arkansas State, think we can say they'll get the job done against Arkansas State. All right, W.
W.
All right, USC comes to town. I think this is going to be a tricky game. I know USC's defense is not particularly the best. I think that Michigan gets it done still. W.
I do too. I was gonna say I'm W. I was all on the Lincoln Riley train. Not anymore. I don't. That project has failed there. I've kind of lost all hope in that. It's a home game for Michigan. I think fans will show up and show out. Give me the W.
I think the defense will be the factor there in the USC game. Minnesota, they come to town as well. They start off the season with, 5 straight home games. That's incredible.
What are we doing?
Yeah, Minnesota comes to town. Still, give me Michigan. They're going to get the job done against Minnesota.
Yeah, same. W.
Washington. At Washington.
I think that's the L. I think they're just going to struggle versus good teams this year, and that's going to be an away game for them. Washington's a tough team to play on the road. Again, where I'm at with this team, I think that's another game that they're going to have slip from them. It's going to kind of be their true test outside of Texas. You know, Texas, they were at home. Washington again, they're on the road.
I'm going to go with a W here on this one because Washington also lost a lot. Lost the head coach, lost their quarterback as well. I'm going to go that Michigan goes there and wins at Washington. At Illinois, I'm going to go ahead and give a W.
Same.
Michigan State, kind of a rivalry game here. Michigan State not been very good lately. I'm going to go ahead and give Michigan a W.
W for me as well, for Michigan.
Now, speak about a real test. Here it is. You get Oregon at home. Oregon, one of the best teams in the country, primed for possibly a national championship run this year. I'm taking Oregon. Oregon goes to the big house and beats Michigan on Saturday, November 2nd.
I 100% agree. I love almost everything about this team. They're going to be a very fun and exciting team to watch. I know that obviously with the NIL deal and them being able to buy essentially whoever they want, it seems like. It's just it's hard to argue, though, that this team is just so fun. I don't think Michigan has the playmakers offensively or defensively to keep up with this team.
Yeah, they're going to be too good. Indiana, at Indiana, I give W to Michigan as well.
Win.
Northwestern, W.
Win.
And then Ohio State, the big rivalry that everybody loves to watch. Ohio State's got too much talent this year. They're too good. Michigan lost too much. And it's at Ohio State. Ohio State takes a W versus Michigan in the last game of the season rivalry week.
I agree. Almost, I feel like this game might just come down to being an embarrassment for Michigan. Again, it goes to the same thing that we were kind of saying about Oregon. This Ohio State team has done equally as good of a job of recruiting, and that they just have such a solid team. And
At,
Michigan's going to greatly.
absolutely loaded. So let's see. I gave them a loss to Texas, loss to Oregon, loss to Ohio State. You gave them a loss to Texas, Washington, Oregon, and Ohio State. So 8-4 and 9-3 are our projections here for Michigan. Way too early. It's very early. I mean, the season hasn't even started. They still got practice to go. So we'll see where they end up. But that's our way too early W's and L's for the defending national champions, Michigan Wolverines. Feel good about that?
I don't think that I do. I do. And I mean, even if I'm wrong on one of these games, I think that even if they finish in one of these 9-3 or 8-4 records, regardless, I don't think that that's a top 12 team.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna have plenty of tests with the Texas, the Washington, the Oregon, and the Ohio State. And I mean, so you can maybe even make the argument with the USC, but I still don't think that that's going to be enough for them to make an argument, because they're in my opinion they're going to drop several of those games, and then there's no way they're going to be in contention for conversation of, are they a top 12 team? Are they going to get in as defending champs into the first 12 team college football playoffs?
Right.
And no, I don't think they are.
Right. And they're not going to win the Big Ten if they're losing to some of these teams on the schedule, probably. So there's also that. They're not going to get an automatic bid. They're going to have to fight their way in. If they go 9-3, is there a chance? Possibly. We don't know what a 12-team playoff looks like yet. If they go 8-4, I can't see them getting in at all, right? But like I said, we'll see what that ends up looking like here coming up whenever 12-team playoff does kick off this year, which I'm super excited about. More football, the better, in my opinion. So I'm cool with it.
So we've been asking for this for such a long time. Just give us more teams. It gives us more football. And again, because football was one of the only sports in college that, like, you see all these other sports, you take 64 teams, like basketball, baseball, softball. They take such a big tournament pool. I mean, I know those games are obviously easier to have 64 teams. I get that. But it's like, why are we only doing 4? So I think we took 12. There will still always be the conversation of, oh, you're leaving people out. Like, that's always going to be it, especially with the committee's the one who gets to decide who is a top 12 team. But it is nice that, they've created the consistency, was as long as you're in a Power 4 conference, you win that, it's an automatic bid and you're in. So I love that. It kind of gives these teams something to work for, even if you do have a 2-loss team. If odds have kind of worked in your favor and you end up in the conference championship, you can now play and get in. Whereas previously, you're a 2-loss team, you're automatically done. Yeah. Like, you have no shot.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about the 12-team playoff in college football now is the fact that there's more meaningful games all the way around. Not only, as you kind of mentioned, like, if you lose one game during the 4-team playoff era, or, the prior era of college football, you were done. You were probably not getting into the playoff. Very rarely, some one-loss teams or even 2-loss teams can get in, but like, you were probably done. Now you lose one game, your season's not done. You as a fan base, you as a team in college football can still strive to get into the playoffs with these 12 teams. And then not only that, we're used to seeing bowl season lately just be a bunch of opt-outs, right? Because there was only 2 games that mattered. So now, with the bowl season being bigger, multiple more games that actually matter, these guys are going to be playing, and we're going to be seeing more meaningful football in the postseason rather than even more opt-outs. So love the 12-team playoff for that reason.
I was going to say, I didn't even think of that, and that is such a good point. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I mean, that didn't even dawn on me as like the opt-out thing. Like, I just think of it obviously from like a selfish standpoint of like, there's more football, like more meaningful football. I didn't think of it as like the opt-out thing. So that is so good, because I think that is the worst thing about some of the bowl season bowl games. Like, obviously I'm betting on them, so I'm watching them. But it's nice that it'll actually be a little bit more competitive, and like the rankings are going to be a little bit more true. So
For sure.
I can get behind it.
For sure. I have to say this real quick. I know we've talked about a lot of college football 25 on the show a little bit, but I did start my first rebuild last night. I was over on Twitch at Sports by Dustin on Twitch. But we started our first rebuild, kind of let chat pick and decide who I was going to rebuild first. Came down between JMU, the Dukes, and then Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers. If you don't know what a Chanticleer is, it's a rooster, essentially. But, I mean, they got sick colors, sick uniforms. Essentially, we flipped the coin with Siri. Siri said heads. We now are the head coach of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. And my tight end is the most ridiculous athlete you've ever seen in your life. I would watch the highlights right here, but no, you guys are going to have to go check it out. I did tweet out my highlights through 2 games with my tight end, Chad Birong. So shout out to Chad Birong. He is an actual athlete at Coastal Carolina. And I don't know, I'm going to be tuning into Coastal Carolina games to see my boy play because I'm telling you, this dude's doing 360 catches on the game. So I've already dubbed him as the next Travis Kelce and the greatest tight end of all time. We'll see where he ends up at the end of his career, but big fan of Chad Birong.
So let's see how many ads we can get at him. Let's add him all in the comments below and see if we can get him to at least like this video. Why not?
Gotta have Chad Birong on the show. Imagine. Oh my God, that'd be good stuff.
I wanna. What difficulty are you playing on?
Heisman. Yeah.
I want you to clear. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, nice. You took it the hardest, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's still balling out, though. I'll tell you that. He is. He might win it for all we know. I mean, his 2 games in, his second game with me as head coach, of course, 9 catches, 183 yards, and 3 tutties. I mean, he's an absolute animal. Yeah, we're 2-0 to start the season. So we'll see where we end up. We got a long season ahead of us, but yeah, it was fun to start of the rebuild. My first time playing Dynasty mode on the game, so I'm excited about it. Yeah. We'll see where it ends up. All right, so we do have some games from the night before to talk about. Just some random things that have happened in the MLB, some stuff we actually missed in yesterday's episode that we will talk about. It's getting a little heated with one of our little friendly wagers here on the show. So off the rip, Guardians can only manage 2 runs and lost to Tigers.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Scooble allows 1 run on 10 hits. He gave up 10 hits, only gave up 1 run?
Only 1 run.
Dang, I didn't even see that game. He must have fought out of some jams.
Yeah, 7 innings of work, 10 hits allowed, 1 earned run. Guardians left 12 runners on base. Lost 8-2.
That's tough.
8-2. They had 12 runners on base. Yeah, Scoob. They were all over him, but he escaped.
He does. Shout out to the defense. Shout out to the Guardians just having an off day with runners on. Real quick, let's get through our sad segment. Red Sox and the Braves just on an absolute skid, apparently. Red Sox now dropped 4 in a row out of the All-Star break, getting swept by the Dodgers. And then last night, another heartbreaker. They lose it in the 12th inning. Tovar hits a walk-off base hit for us to lose in the 12th inning. So, heartbreaker. Then your Braves. What's going on with them?
I have no idea. Like, I was so excited to watch them coming out of the All-Star break. The Phillies are even struggling a little bit. We still are not closing down this lead. I'm closely watching it. We're still 8.5 games behind. Phillies lose, we lose. It's almost like we follow suit. Like, I don't understand what we're doing. We're struggling. We had 3 hits yesterday. We made Hunter Green look like he should have been the starter for the NL in the All-Star game.
Hunter Green's solid, though.
It's just, he is, but I mean, you see other teams just wreck him, and then it's the Braves go out there, and we can't even do anything. I don't know. It's so entirely frustrating.
Hey, we get W's today. Projection. Money line, Braves, Red Sox, cash it. Watch this.
I might just do it.
for the vibes. A little D-Gen bet. It's funny. And then Rangers rookie walks it off for Rangers with a single. Rangers walk off. Okay, all right. Host an all-star game. Walk off shortly after by a rookie. Things are looking up for the Rangers. Dodgers win on miscommunication from Giants outfielders. You know a little bit more about this one?
This play?
I didn't.
So I don't remember who it was. It was the 9-hole hitter though. He rips.
Is it Brett Wisely? Oh no, sorry. You're saying 9-hole hitter for the Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
Okay.
Yes. So this was the bottom of the 8th inning. Rips a kind of a routine fly ball in the gap towards the fence. Left fielder, center fielder, going both at it. None of them talk. They look at each other. Ball drops right in between them. It's a double. Shohei Ohtani's next up to bat. They win by 1 run. Score a run in the bottom of the 8th. That guy scores. Should have been a routine fly out. And they didn't score a run in the 9th. And that's that game.
Dodgers just keep escaping it late in the games.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that's a team that you need to win and find a way to win late in games or just win games in general because that's a team that's contention for the World Series. I do have them in a parlay I've talked about on the show before. I had Celtics to win the NBA championship, Dodgers to win the World Series, and then I also got Ohio State to win the College Football National Championship parlayed. It was a $10 bonus bet to win a little bit over $1,000. We checked one off. Dodgers starting to win, beat my team, so we helped them out a little bit, I guess. But
that was for you, Dustin.
Yeah, that was for the bet. Yeah, I mean, my team's got me. All right, this is just an interesting development. We talked about it yesterday. USA escaped their prior game against South Sudan. They escape again against Germany. 92-88 they win. LeBron kind of comes up clutch once again in the victory. They're going to lose one. These are just exhibitions. We talked about it. Maybe they're playing down a competition because it's exhibition. If they come out, I would really love for them to come out when the real thing starts, about a week, you said, from now, and just blow the doors off people. Don't even make it close. Show us we were just kind of being lax, trying to play, not get hurt before the actual stuff happens, and actually do what you're supposed to do against these teams, because it's starting to make me mad. Win these games convincingly, because you should be.
Yeah, I want to be tuned out by the third quarter. That's what I want. Because the thing is like I haven't really watched any of these friendlies. I kind of just keep up with them. But once it's the real deal and the Olympics are on, I will definitely tune in. And it's even more because now it's a little bit more interesting because we're keeping it so close. A 4-point win, like, come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, so I don't know. I think that's the thing is what truly needs to happen is it needs to be in a blowout fashion. And that's what we need before I start to buy into this team a little bit more, because yeah, we're gonna lose one, but now we don't have any more friendlies. That was the last friendly, and now everything from here on out is the real deal. And these last 2 games are not looking promising for us.
And when the Team USA roster was announced, I said it. Halliburton did not belong on this team, and guess what's happening? He is starting to be phased out of the rotation. 0 minutes against Germany after logging the first 3 games. Canada, 20 minutes. Serbia, 15 minutes. South Sudan, 7 minutes. Steadily decreasing to 0. He didn't belong in the team in the first place. Steve Kerr is realizing this. Should have listened to me.
No, you're wrong. The thing is you're wrong because, look, we're talking about their struggles. Their first game versus Canada. America wins by 14. Versus Serbia. America wins by 25-30. These last 2 games versus South Sudan, we win by 1, then we win by 4. You take Halliburton out, you're playing in less competitive games. What are we doing? This man needs more minutes.
Fair.
More minutes.
Fair point, but I don't know if it's correlated. I really don't. I got to check the guys plus minus and see if you're right there. But I don't know. Steve Kerr is seeing something to where this guy shouldn't be getting playing time. And I don't mean to sound like a hater on Halliburton. He's good, but like the roster comparative to like around him compared to him, in my opinion, he just was the one guy that was kind of like probably not that he didn't fit, but didn't belong, in my opinion. But I digress. I mean, you might have something there. Who knows? Maybe they need to play Allie 40 minutes. I
think if anything, you bringing that point up, we may have just solved America's right now. Like, give this man the MVP. What are we doing?
Oh my God. Well, we'll see how Team USA actually fares. We'll keep up with it. We'll keep you guys updated. But in the meantime, let's talk about Daily Grind Fantasy. Here is the AI slip generator at Daily Grind Fantasy. We've talked about it on the show before. The easiest, most profitable tool in the game, right underneath my head. If you actually went to the website, which we'll link down in the description below, it is up over 1,350 units since launch of 818 last year, almost coming up on the 1 year anniversary of the tool. But what it does is it literally shows you the most profitable plays and builds out full slips for you to just click and plug and play. Click and tail, very simple. Here is the underdog slip here. Gill under 4 hits allowed. Otto Lopez under 1.5 hits runs RBIs. You guys, I don't have to say it all, but you guys see it here. It compares sportsbooks lines and odds directly back to underdog, directly back to PrizePicks in order to find the best value. And all you have to do is plug and play. Or on PrizePicks, you just click this one click bet button, and what it will do is it loads up the slip right on PrizePicks for you, and all you do is type in how much you want to play, and boom, you play it. It's that simple. The easiest tool and most profitable tool in the game. You can literally plug and play, like I said, and know that you are getting profitable plays over the long term, right? If you enter in all these slips on the tool, right, you will be a profitable sports bettor over the long term. I say long term a lot whenever I talk about these tools, but it's just simply the truth, right? You're not guaranteed to win if you just tail one slip. It's not claiming to hit at a 100% hit rate or anything like that, because that's just not realistic. That doesn't happen. It's a 6-leg parlay, a 5-leg parlay. Those are hard to hit. But whenever you play them with the value provided, because you are getting an edge against PrizePicks and an edge against underdog based off of AI and them finding these plays for you, you will be profitable in the long term. So long-winded, but literally the best tool there is, guys. Check it out. Code SURGE for 25% off Daily Grind Fantasy, linked in the description of this podcast. You guys can get access. There it is. I mean, it's been on a heater too. So if you guys haven't checked it out, highly suggest it.
Yeah, and it's like you're saying though. I mean, like you have to use it with fidelity, and using it with fidelity looks like tons of volume. So, and I think that that's what's so great about the AI generated slip is because again, it takes something that would take minutes, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes to make a slip, and is able to compress it down into almost seconds, right? And that, especially when the bet on PrizePicks button. So if you're able to get all of these slips out in volume, that's the name of the game. That's how you become the profitable sports bettor, like you had mentioned, Dustin. It's like you have to use this tool with fidelity, though.
And I would argue that to make a real slip, depending on what type of sports bettor you are, right? Let's say you are a sports bettor that traditionally will research stats, look up game logs, etc., right? That's going to take you some good amount of time to search the board, find the plays that you like, right? Let's say 30 minutes to really find 5 or 6 plays, that you really like, right? This AI slip generator will find those plays, right, that are good based on what the sports books have, right? Their odds and lines on the sports books compared to PrizePicks and underdog. That already take into consideration the last 10, last 5 game logs, matchups, etc. that you're looking into. The sportsbooks already have that baked into their odds, so you can use these as trustful data points to compare back to PrizePicks. Then you can just click and tail that in 5 seconds on PrizePicks, maybe 20 to 30 seconds to enter in an underdog slip because you have to manually enter that one on the tool. But so something that could take 30 minutes, or you even having to keep up with sports, know what's going on, who's playing who, etc. If that's the type of bettor you are, it takes a lot of effort, but not whenever you're just entering in profitable slips. Very little time. I mean, the time it saves you to just enter in these slips compared to like actually keeping up and looking up stuff is insane. So if you are a line comparing type of person, you use the fantasy bundle, maybe a Daily Grind Fantasy, you like seeing what books have what. Super, very, very convenient as well. But you still have to kind of sort through the lines and see what you like and how many books and data points there are. A lot more preferences that you could do yourself, but it would just take a little bit longer. So, I mean, unreal tool.
Not that it takes long at all. Like
No.
that tool, the optimizer tool is so clutch in itself. Like you had to, I feel like you have to have like a healthy combination of both, you know. You
That's
don't
what I
wanna build
like.
out your own. Yeah, let's see. You got to have a healthy combination. So that's what
Yeah.
I do. I definitely rely on the AI generated slip, but then it's like, you know, if I've already used a lot of those players and not trying to overexpose, I'm like, all right, let me go to the optimizer and see what I can do. Because there's always tons of value in there.
100%. 100%. All right, let's a little bit more news, and we have we mentioned at the top of the podcast, but one of our friendly bets and wagers here on the podcast heating up. But before we get into that, James Paxton. Oh, really? DFA'd by the Dodgers after recording 3 straight wins. 8-2 record. 4.46 ERA.
ERA, yeah, the ERA is not great, but I think that he's a solid rotation pitcher, and that's all that this Dodgers team needs him to be. So that kind of sparks up the argument of like, we're obviously really nearing this MLB trade deadline. A week from today is last day. So with that said, is this Dodgers team adding a pitcher to this rotation after designating James Paxton for assignment? They're obviously, I feel like, having to make space because what's your reasoning and justification for an 8-2 pitcher with a 4.45 ERA?
Garrett Crochet?
Exactly.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Can you just imagine? This team doesn't even have Ohtani pitching for them yet.
No.
Next year, Ohtani should be pitching, I believe, is the timeline. I think he's pitching next year for them. Like, once he gets in the rotation, it's just like, this team's going to be unreal.
I mean, and it feels like they're already unreal.
Yeah.
They've been unreal for such a long time. And like, I had somebody in the comments, and it's in my comments yesterday on X whenever I kind of tweeted about this. And it's just like, obviously the Dodgers are put into a situation where they've spent so money in the offseason that they're almost obviously in a win now state. Like, it doesn't make sense for them not to be. It almost is World Series or nothing for them. So of course they're going to go out and add all of these superstars. And I just was like, I understand the logic with them having to do this, but I hate the reality because I want Garrett Crochet on the Braves. I want all of these other players on the Braves. I do not want them on the Dodgers. What are we doing? But I get it. Like, if I was a Dodgers fan, like, let's add everybody we can to make sure that this road to the World Series is smooth and easy.
I agree. I mean, we'll see what they end up really doing, but in the meantime, we'll look out for James Paxton. Hopefully, he's back on the roster. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, 8-2. I mean, maybe he's getting bailed out based on the ERA a little bit by the offense, but I mean, hey. You're a pitcher for the Dodgers. You should have some offense behind you, right?
So. Yeah, exactly. And then the Dodgers knew what they were getting into. Like, all their pitchers have a little bit of leeway.
Yeah,
with that ERA for sure.
Okay, so our bet. Last thing before we get into one last game that we have on the podcast. Our bet. One of the first podcasts might have been the first. It might have been the second podcast. There was a cycle hit by. Was it
Wyatt Langford?
Wyatt Langford, right. The Rangers' Wyatt Langford. And that was the first one of the season. We had set a little friendly wager at 2.5 cycles for the rest of the season total. So counting the one, so two more cycles during the season, and that would be the over. And Yordan Alvarez actually hit for the cycle 2 days ago. We missed it on the last podcast. We did not talk about it. But he hits for the cycle, leaving it at 2 now. The under is on actual life support. The under of 2.5 cycles is on life support, and I'll tell you why. Just yesterday, one day after Alvarez hits for the cycle, Bobby Witt has a home run, a double, and a triple. He's a single shy of the cycle, and he gets plunked. They hit him. The Royals were not happy with this. Salvador Perez was kind of on the on-deck circle and in the dugout, chirping and pissed off about it, and I don't blame him because it looked like it might have been intentional. The pitcher kind of played it off like it wasn't. It looked pretty intentional, and then he did get one more at-bat we talked about later in the game and then ended up flying out, but it would have been nice to have 2 chances at hitting for the cycle if you're Bobby Witt.
Yeah, what a cheap way out, because it was 100% intentional, and it's like, what? Obviously, like, what are we doing, dude? Like, the cycles are nothing but good for the sport. I understand you don't want it against your team, but come on, back off. And yes, he had one more opportunity, but yes, I mean, you're talking about one opportunity as opposed to 2 chances because he starts the game off with a triple. Like, he gets the hardest hit immediately out of the way with the triple and then ends up hitting a home run. Going into the 6th inning, you have the 3 hardest hits of the cycle completed. You need a single. That's
Yeah.
all that you need, and it's just unfortunate. I mean, and obviously for myself, I was following that game live because I was like, we're about to hit this in back-to-back days, and we still have so much baseball season left. Because I took the over, but I took the over in spite because Dustin beat me to the under. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just take the over because you took the under. But it looks like it's working out for me because my bet is not on live support at the moment.
No,
At the
you
moment.
you
So,
got plenty of time. I mean, I'm gonna need some pitchers to step it up and hit some more guys whenever they're very close to the cycle. Because as an under as an under better for the under 2.5 cycles on the MLB season, I wasn't too mad at it. Although honestly, it's a friendly bet, right? Could have
right.
cared less in the end. I would have liked to see Bobby Witt hit for the cycle, and especially not just don't get plunked. Like, don't plunk him. If anything, let the dude do it himself and go for it. Like, I would have rather seen him fly out twice than see that happen. Because you are right. I mean, cycles are literally nothing but good for the game. So
Yeah.
what can you do for Bobby Witt? I'm sure they'll maybe get back in another game. It's just kind of how baseball works. You throw at somebody, probably gonna get thrown at.
No, they did.
Oh, they already
What
threw
I
at him.
think. Yeah, the
Oh,
next half inning, they came out the first batter of the inning. I believe they pegged him,
hey,
and then I think somebody got ejected from it.
I'm for it. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I'm for it. Don't aim for the head. Don't aim for the head. That's all I care about. If you plunk somebody in the leg, the back or whatever, cool. Don't aim for the head, and I'm here for it.
All right.
All right, you got something for us.
I do. So blind rankings. I want you to be blindly ranking these top dual threat quarterbacks of all time. So listeners, if you're listening to this, I want you to comment your rankings below as well. But Dustin, for you, I'm going to start off with Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. Are we talking NFL only?
NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, NFL only.
NFL only. I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna go 3.
Okay. Lamar Jackson.
I feel like you're setting me up here, but I want to go 2. I want to go 2
Okay.
with Lamar Jackson.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, I'm gonna go 4. Josh Allen.
Michael Vick.
1. I was hoping we had Michael Vick, baby. I was saving 1.
Steve Young.
Steve Young 5.
Okay. That actually
Dude,
worked
we
out
have a
pretty-
perfect blind ranking. Would you give that a
Yeah.
perfect blind ranking rating?
I think that's pretty solid. Yeah. I think that was perfect.
What would you change? Anything?
It's kind of the Steve Young and the Josh Allen for me, but again, I think I can get behind Steve Young at 5 and Josh Allen at 4.
All right.
Like, I think that's one that maybe I would interchange. But if I'm talking about interchanging 4 and 5, come on, I'll give you perfect ranking on that.
All right, I'll take it. And to be honest with you, I don't know too much about Steve Young's on the ground game. To be honest with you, I know incredible quarterback overall, but I don't know too much about him being a runner at quarterback position. So I felt like 5 was safe. If I didn't know too much about it, I felt like I was pretty safe putting him there. But also, I don't know. I'm super happy with that. Hopefully the comments agreed with me. We might have our first actual perfect ranking without any disputes. Maybe 4 or 5. We'll see what the comments say. Let's go, baby. I thought you were gonna screw me and not give me Michael Vick. To be honest, I was like, dude,
do that. I know it would have been too predictable. I mean, you think dual threat quarterbacks, you have to throw Michael Vick in there. So I was like, I've got to do this. I just thought, and I thought doing Lamar Jackson a little early to put you at 1. So I don't know.
Hey, it's all the
the
mind games in these blind rankings too. You gotta know who your professor is.
Right, exactly.
Oh man, I love it. That was awesome. A good game to end it on for sure, and hopefully a W in the comments for that. But if you guys are not subscribed, this is going to be end of the podcast, so make sure you guys hit the subscribe button before it does end. Also, hit the like button on your way out. We would appreciate it. That's going to be it for episode 10 of the Sideline Surge. DJ, any last words?
Later, y'all.
Peace.
Have a good day today. Maybe one more cycle.